Samsung's Galaxy S4 was one of the most popular smartphones of 2013. Although it didn't revolutionize the S3, it proved to be the Android phone to beat of the past year. With the Samsung Galaxy S5, Samsung is looking to improve even more on the S4. They're not looking to make a revolution, they're looking to make an evolution. Hey there everyone, how are you doing? Joe Marin here from MobileCupOfJoe, and in this video here today, I'm going to be giving you my full review of the Samsung Galaxy S5 on AT&T. So guys, the Samsung Galaxy S5, this is a pretty big smartphone. This is easily one of the most popular handsets of 2014. This is going to be one of the biggest phones we see all year. In this video, I'm going to be taking a look and seeing if this is truly the next big thing. Before we go any further, please go ahead and grab that coffee cup, fill it up, bring it over, and sit on down. Take a swig for your Mobile Cup of Joe. To start off this review, let's talk about the design and build quality aspects of the phone. The Samsung Galaxy S5 looks mostly the same as the S4 on the front. You've got your Samsung logo at the top, 5.1-inch display in the center, and a physical home button with two capacitive touch buttons on either side. Now the home button can also act as a fingerprint sensor, but I found that its execution was mostly hit or miss at its best. It's a nice thing to have for marketing, but doesn't offer that much actual usefulness. The same faux chrome frame can be found around the sides of the phone, although they do appear to be a bit more shiny this time around. Flip the device over to the back though and you'll notice the real design changes. Similarly to that of the Note 3, the Samsung Galaxy S5 ditches the glossy hyperglazed plastic that's been an infamous staple of Samsung for so long. Instead, the S5 goes for a soft touch plastic backing with a very grippy and rubbery feel. Instead of the faux leather design like on the Note 3 though, the S5's back has a perforated design. Now I will admit, when the Galaxy S5 was first announced, I wasn't very keen of this back design at all, and it still doesn't look the prettiest out there, especially compared to the HTC One M8, but it actually feels very good in the hand. It's very grippy, very soft, has a good feel to it. It's actually a lot better than I was expecting. Again, not the best in the looks department still, but actually feels surprisingly good in the hand. You'll also notice on the back of the S5 that there's a secondary sensor below the camera lens. That additional sensor is a heart rate monitor that Samsung has thrown in there for all of you fitness geeks out there. I toyed around with this feature for a bit, and it is a cool thing to show off to friends and family, but I can't really see myself actually using this in real life scenarios. It's fairly accurate, but I also found that I had to try it multiple times, as I often could not read my heart rate properly. Also located on the back of the S5 is a teeny tiny speaker grill. As expected, the speaker on the S5 is very tinny, rather quiet, and can get muffled very easily. Audio isn't particularly loud and doesn't sound very rich either. My favorite aspect of the S5's build quality has got to be the IP67 dust and water resistant certifications. This means that the Galaxy S5 has full resistance to dust and can be submerged in up to 1 meter of water for 30 minutes. Now it is worth noting that the back of the S5 right here, which as you can see is removable like this, for the waterproofing to matter at all, you do have to make sure it's completely snapped back in place. Run your fingers over the sides a few times to make sure that's secure, and also the flap covering the micro USB 3.0 port, make sure that's covered as well, because if it's not, then the waterproof and the IP67 certifications don't really matter at all. But this thing went through a hot sink full of dishes, went under my bathroom faucet, got dunked in some water, splashed with water. This thing went through everything, and it didn't have any signs to show the wear. The Samsung Galaxy S5 boasts a 5.1-inch 1920 by 1080p Full HD Super AMOLED display with 432 pixels per inch. The Super AMOLED technology on the S5 screen is just as colorful and vibrant as it's ever been, with colors leaping up from the screen and screaming right at you. While the screen does tend to be a bit oversaturated at times, I've always been a big fan of the Super AMOLED technology that Samsung so frequently uses. One really nice aspect of the S5 screen is that it gets both incredibly dim as well as astonishingly bright. Outdoor visibility proved to be great as well, making this an all-around great display. In terms of performance, the Samsung Galaxy S5 packs in some serious horsepower. With a 2.5 GHz quad-core Qualcomm Snapdragon 801 processor, the Adreno 330 GPU, and 2 GB of RAM, the S5 was able to power through everything and anything I threw at it. Between playing games, streaming HD video, browsing the web, surfing social media, channels, and more, the Galaxy S5 has got all of the power you'll ever need to power through even some of the most rigorous tasks. The Galaxy S5 features a 16 megapixel ISO camera on the back and a 2 megapixel camera up front. In regards to camera software, Samsung has refined their camera interface to be a bit easier for consumers to use. On the right, you'll find circular buttons for video capture, camera shutter button, and a mode selector. On the left side of the screen of the camera app, you will find a settings button, which presents you with a laundry list of camera features. From here, you can change the quality of the images and videos, enable picture stabilization, select your recording mode, enable different effects, turn on HDR, and more. Now, in regards to actual picture quality, I was rather pleased with the S5's camera performance. Shots taken in good lighting conditions turned out great with bright colors and sharp details, but take the S5 into low light situations and the story is a bit different. Although it doesn't take horrible pictures in darker areas, the S5's camera did show signs of digital noise and some fuzziness when shooting without as much light. Shutter speed on the S5 though is almost instant. As soon as you press the shutter capture button, a picture is snapped immediately. This proved to be an incredibly nice thing to have on my cousin's graduation this past week when taking a picture of his graduating class throwing their caps into the air. The S5's camera has plenty of features and is a strong enough performance to please mostly anyone. Hardcore camera buffs will most likely prefer something like the Nokia Lumia 1020 still, but the camera here on the S5 is no slouch at all. To get you through your long days of use, the Galaxy S5 holds a 2,800 mAh removable battery. When turning the S5 on just before 7 o'clock a.m., with moderate checking of multiple social media channels, heavy messaging, checking Clash of Clans throughout the day, and a constant Bluetooth connection to my Pebble Steel, I was able to get 16 hours and 45 minutes of usage time, with over 3 hours of screen on time while having 4% remaining at 11:40 p.m. that night. Now if you want to save even more power, you can utilize Samsung's Ultra Power Saving mode. Turning this on will switch the phone into a simple grayscale theme and limits the number of apps and features you can use. With a full battery, you can get over 12 days of standby time with Ultra Power Saving mode turned on. The battery on the S5 proved to be a strong contender during my time with the device and should be able to last through even the most intense of use. In regards to call quality, I wasn't nearly as impressed with it as I was with the battery life. While callers were audible and loud, they sometimes tended to sound a bit muffled. Calls placed on speakerphone were decent but sounded a bit quiet for my liking. Samsung has never been known for fantastic call quality, and the S5 doesn't do anything to change that image for the company. The Samsung Galaxy S5 is running Android 4.4.2 KitKat out of the box with an updated version of Samsung's TouchWiz UI. Now, TouchWiz still remains as cartoony as oversaturated as ever, but Samsung has made some subtle tweaks that make using the childish interface a little less frustrating. Now, for starters, most of the dreaded TouchWiz lag that usually plagues Samsung's devices is completely gone. Well, almost. I still encountered a couple instances of stutter here and there when navigating through the app drawer and home screens, but this is easily the snappiest version of TouchWiz I have used to date. TouchWiz is still present with just as many software features as ever. My favorite of these features is still multi-window. Samsung is the best when it comes to multitasking in the industry, and multi-window is just as useful as ever here on the S5. Now, while multi-window is great, you still have a bunch of other gimmicky and rather useless software features as well. Now, these include Toolbox, AirView, AirBrowse, Smart Pause, etc. Samsung is also trying to push their My Magazine feature with the S5. First introduced in the Galaxy Note 3, My Magazine has been moved to the leftmost home screen and is essentially Samsung's version of HTC's Blink feed. Unfortunately, Samsung's execution is not nearly as strong as HTC's. Rather than letting users choose from a long list of specific news sources to pull information from like HTC does with Blink feed, My Magazine limits you to certain categories such as business, style, food and dining, music, science and technology, etc. You can also add your social media accounts to My Magazine, but the overall execution of news stories and social network updates presented here is rather sloppy. For example, when selecting a YouTube video from My Magazine, instead of it taking you right to the video, it directs you to a link for that video, making you tap the screen a second time to actually get the video to play. Now, this may sound like a small complaint, but it makes the My Magazine feel unpolished and incomplete. Samsung has also completely changed the settings layout for the new version of TouchWiz. Samsung has ditched the standard settings layout for a list of colorful circles that are categorized by specific categories. This isn't the worst settings layout I've ever seen on a phone before, but I did find myself occasionally getting lost in such a drastic change from the normal layout. So to sum up my review, the Samsung Galaxy S5 is a very solid handset. You have an improved design from past Samsung Galaxy devices, ridiculously fast processing speeds, a beautiful display on here. You've got really good battery life, a very strong camera, smoother software experience with a good amount of features, although some of them aren't very useful. But all in all, this is a really good package here, and it's already selling much faster, and units are selling much quicker than the S4 was. Now, if you currently aren't a fan of Samsung products, this is not going to change your mind at all. If you hate Samsung for whatever reason, then this isn't going to change your mind. You're still going to hate Samsung. But for those of you out there who really do like Samsung products, you've been fans of their previous things, you're probably going to fall in love with this device. My first smartphone was the Samsung Galaxy S Fascinate, so kind of have a love-hate relationship with Samsung. I do like their devices, but I don't really like how they play it safe so often, and that's really what this device is. It's a solid flagship device that Samsung played very safely with. Now, I really wish, and I'm really hoping for the day that Samsung tries really creative and really tries to make an outstanding device. S5, very solid, but it just feels a bit too familiar, and I'm waiting for that day when Samsung really shocks us and wows us like they did in 2012 with the Galaxy S3, and here's to hoping they can do that someday, and probably soon with the S6. Waiting for that magic. Again, Samsung Galaxy S5, still a really great product. Let me know what you guys think. If you have the phone or if you've tried it, drop a comment down below. Or if you have any further questions, want to stay in touch some more, make sure to follow MobileCupOfJoe on Twitter, where the channel is at MobileCupOfJoe, and follow me personally as well, where I am at JoeMarine1. If you guys liked the video, please go ahead and hit that like button. And to stay in touch and stay up to date with the latest videos I'm kicking out, make sure you hit that subscribe button somewhere along the side of the screen. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Bye-bye.